Hey everybody, and welcome to another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at a snap and switch set based off of Spongebob Squarepants called Patrick's Rock. Before we start talking about the actual set itself, I did want to take a look at the overall box design, which I think has a relatively solid look. I do like the yellow border and blue background that is on this box, and if we turn it around to the back here, you can see we get another look at the set. I don't find the back of the box nearly as interesting to look at as the front, and it's mostly due to this plain white background. There is this really short and sweet little description on the back of the box as well. I also find it worth mentioning that the cardboard that they use for this box doesn't feel like the highest of quality. But with all that being said, we're finally ready to jump into the review. And we're going to start by taking a look at the Patrick figure that is included in this set. And I don't necessarily dislike the design of these snap and switch figures that come in these SpongeBob sets, and I think they did a relatively good job with Patrick here. I will say one of the things that surprises me the most is as we turn Patrick around to the back here, you can see there's actually some printed flowers on the back of his shorts. It is a rather nice surprise because with this being a $5 set, I thought there would only be printing on the front of the figure. And it may be hard to see, but the tip of Patrick's head is actually its own little separate piece, which I found very interesting. And I'm not real sure why Snap and Switch didn't make Patrick's head just one piece. But as we make our way back to the front of Patrick, I do like the overall printing detail on this figure. As far as the articulation in Patrick goes, it's nothing too crazy. The head is able to be rotated side to side. And I will say the thing that surprises me the most is the ball joints used for Patrick's arms actually feel relatively sturdy. And again, with this being a $5 set, I feel like the arms would have popped off really easily, but they do feel relatively secure. The only time that the arm is going to pop off is when you actually force the arm out of socket. And it is relatively easy to put the arm back in place. The hands of Patrick are also able to be rotated around like a traditional Lego minifigure. I just forgot to show it, and there's no articulation in the legs. With the minifigure out of the way, we're now ready to talk about the very simple build that is included in this set, Patrick's Rock. And I don't think there's anything really too crazy or special about this build, which is in line with my expectations when you pay $5 for something like this. And while this isn't the most impressive looking set, I do feel like Snap and Switch did show a little bit of care as far as the sticker detailing of the set goes. And this set comes with quite a bit of stickers. You can see a lot of flowers and corals on the sand surrounding Patrick's Rock, as well as some bubbles and jellyfish on the rock itself. There's also a sticker of Gary the Snail on the side here, which looks a little awkward when you have the rock opened up. There are directions on where to place the stickers throughout the build, but I did have a spare jellyfish and I decided to place them on the back of the rock here. And with this being made out of plastic building bricks, it is really hard for them to pull off the overall shape of Patrick's Rock, but I do think they did a fair attempt at creating the shape of this build. There is a hinge on the back of the rock that allows you to open and close the rock just like you see in the show. And unfortunately, when you start to push the rock down to close it, it ends up popping off. This is by far the most disappointing part of this set in my opinion, as this is something I would have really liked to have seen implemented a little bit better into the actual build. But with the rock removed, we are going to get a little bit of a better look at the inside, which doesn't have a ton of detail, but that's actually pretty accurate to what's depicted in the show. There's a really simple brick-built TV that has a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy sticker, as well as a simple brick-built couch. If you want to close Patrick's Rock completely, you are going to have to remove the hinge found at the back of the set, and pick up the rock and place it onto the build. And unfortunately, I don't really care for the way that this looks because there's a really big gap in the back of the build where the hinge is supposed to go. It was a nice idea to be able to have this set open and close, but I think it's executed rather poorly here. The last thing that I want to show off is Patrick is able to fit inside of the rock relatively well, even though the couch is a little small for the actual size of the figure. Like I said a couple of times throughout this review, I paid $5 for the set at the store 5 below. And for me personally, I wouldn't want to pay any more than that for this set. I don't find the actual build itself to be anything too crazy or special, but I do like the Patrick minifigure that is included. And if you did buy this set for a kid, I do think they would have some fun playing with it. Thank you so much for watching my review, and be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel for future brick built reviews.